Blanca Pacheco, who, when she was born, landed in Ecuador, is co-director at the New Sanctuary Movement of Philadelphia. She has over 10 years experience working with the multiracial, multilingual, interfaith immigrant rights movement. And we welcome her today to just share a few words about the work that she's doing. Blanca Pacheco.
Thank you for thinking I'm short people. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for inviting me here. It's really an honor to be here and to share the work that we do. And as I was reflecting this morning, so what I'm going to say, how I'm going to share everything in 10 minutes. I kept reflecting on the word fear. And I think I kept reflecting on that because in the first hour in the morning, I brought Carmela, who was taking sanctuary in a church in Philadelphia, has been in the church, locked in the church for like 17 months, fighting for her life to not be deported. She gets really afraid and anxious to share her story. Sometimes, so I was thinking how to calm her anxiety. And I also myself realized that I do my work and I'm surrounded every day with a lot of people who have fear. Fear of deportation, fear of going to court, fear of losing their family members, fear and pain that they are losing their family members back home and they're not even able to go back to their funerals. But I also see a lot of skills and power of these same people who are facing a lot of fear, just the skills and the wish to get involved and to do something about it and still have hope and joy. Because we have been reflecting a lot about that our lives as immigrants didn't start after we crossed the border, or didn't end before we crossed the border. So we bring a lot of skills, a lot of culture, a lot of things that we can do. So more and more reflecting on how we need to be seen as human beings with skills and with things to add more than only victims, which we also are. So one of the reason I kept thinking about fear is like just thinking about this mother who has become a leader in our work. We were accompanying her to her court because she turned herself in the border and she has been fighting for asylum. And later on, come to learn that she came to the United States because her son came and disappeared. She has been looking for him for 10 years. And how she still has hope and she still continues to fight that, and she has become part of our leaders who are the ears in the community to help support others. We do accompaniment. There's a lot of people who are going to court and are afraid of not coming out or being arrested there. We have a network of about 100 or 200 people that receive an email whenever someone needs to go to court. We send the details. People show up to pray, show up for moral support, show up to be able to tell the judges that we are watching and keeping them accountable, and also lawyers who might be thinking about fraud. So we do accompaniment. We accompany people at least 6 or 7 times a week, not only in Philadelphia, but also in New York, Pennsylvania, where people are detained. We accompany to immigration court, traffic court, criminal court, family court, and we think that everyone deserves a second chance and everyone deserves to be supported. So that's what we do with accompaniment. Also, as part of these people who might be really fearful to go to court, the most incredible thing to see is people coming together to support one another. There's a group that is called Familias Unidas, Families United. 15 families from different countries have come together to build a community fund. This is the only community fund to support immigrants that exists in Philadelphia. And they decided to focus on helping single mothers and people who are incarcerated. And they do events, they engage restaurants, they engage everyone in the community. They will come and they will hand you a ticket and they'll say, oh, it's $5. To be able to fundraise, to pay bonds, to be able to fundraise to get people out of incarceration. And the same thing out of that fear, I keep thinking about this woman who was detained. She was following the law. She was detained when she went to check in immigration because she had an anchor bracelet. And she didn't come home to her children. She was detained. She was sent to York. After like several weeks, she was given a $7,500 bond, which is the cheapest amount. A lot of people came together. The school, the teachers of her children, other organizations who were supporting. A sixth grade students fundraised sales snacks $1,000. We came together and also like put the money and pay her bond. Just to see this chain of love, something different than fear, it's really powerful. And this same woman who was detained and was sent to York organized other people who were incarcerated there. She met another Guatemalan woman there that was stuck without having contact with her family members, and also this other Honduran woman with her son that was also stuck there. And she connected, that was able to connect through her husband, connect to their family members, and she helped get them out. So all of them are out right now. And so that's really powerful to see that chain of love, that chain of support. So there's more love than hate. So this community fund exists to support people to get free and also to be able to help pay a deposit, to pay a lawyer, to hire a lawyer and fight their cases. Only in the Passover week, we freed 4 people. They're back with their families, they're back with their children. So, and then we're also able to help pay the first deposit for 15 more families. And all of this work is done for the immigrant families who are in deportation proceedings themselves, involving other people, people like you, other churches, who will buy a ticket to come to party, to come to eat. And just building this collective community to support each other, and it's done by themselves. So that's really inspiring, and that helps me when I get afraid and overwhelmed and tired and in pain because the work is really hard. Another story that comes to mind was Armando's story. Armando was driving in Harrisburg, going to work, and like many other immigrants, he needs to drive because he needs to survive. Sometimes jobs are really far, and he did not have a driver's license. So he was stopped by the police. He called his wife, who is a citizen, to come get his car, but the police didn't want to let him go. The police told the wife that he was just being taken to the precinct, and he was taken to York. He was put in jail to be deported. He was stuck in jail as well through another member who was also detained. He met Armando and realized that they did not have the money to pay $8,000 bail. His wife started selling her belongings in trying to put the money together. We learned about the case, and with Community Fund, which actually sparked the Community Fund as well, we're able to get him out before Father's Day last year. So he was able to be with his family, he's still with his family, going through trauma and pain, but it's with his family. So that's why we fight. We are fighting right now to pass legislation in the state to get driver's license for all immigrants. Because how come that we are allowed to pay taxes, they give us an IT number to pay taxes, but we are not allowed to get a driver's license. So we will be introducing legislation, together with a coalition of organizations, to ask the state to allow immigrants to drive legally and be able to get a driver's license. So we would need help, and I would be happy to be in contact with Linda to see how you can support visiting legislators here in the area, or accompanying us to lobby days, or simply engaging other people, because this legislation is going to be hard to pass, and we are trying to also fundraise to be able to hire a statewide coordinator. So for people like Armando, we remember that we need to also work on legislation that we need to change. And also, it makes me think about how Carmela shared this morning of her journey of going everywhere around the city in Philadelphia trying to find a church. that will let her stay at their church so she doesn't get deported and she doesn't get killed back home. It reminds me of the story, it's a very similar story of Suyapa Reyes, who's also living in a church in Germantown, in the Germantown area in Philadelphia. She also escaping a really harsh violence. She's in sanctuary with her 4 children. She was told by the ICE officer that she was going to be deported and she had to leave her 2 youngest children here. Juanita Clyde, this other family who's also living in Germantown in the church, they are from Jamaica. They as well fear for their lives. All of these 3 families, a total of 14 people, are living in 2 different churches, fighting for their cases. But this is only a symptom of this broken immigration system that doesn't see us as people who has value. So we support them to build the structures to be able to fight their cases, to have a lawyer, and also for themselves to be empowered and try to come out of the church. One of the things, again, I kept thinking about is like the fear that we have, and I think that this president, this administration, we're using fear for everyone. What's the fear that we have? I was thinking that while we work to do accompaniment to families who are afraid to go to court and connect them with lawyers, leadership development, we continue to build a community fund, we continue to support families taking sanctuary, working on legislation to pass driver's license, also working to make sure that the city of Philadelphia does not go back to working with the police, that we worked for years to end that collaboration that the immigration and the police were working and being able to build the sanctuary city. While I continue to reflect on that, I keep thinking about people who have been engaged or people who have been afraid to get engaged. And just wanted to share that and close that to thinking like, what are we afraid of personally? If someone would told me 20 years ago when I left my country that I would be doing what I'm doing right now, I would have laughed at that person, because I would never imagine that I will be working in anything related to social justice. But here I am, and it's hard. It's really hard and painful. And it's painful because, you know, we don't have a magic wand to clean people's pains. And also because, you know, it's fearful. I'm afraid too sometimes to do this work as an immigrant myself, as a person of color. But just like even if all of these people that I mentioned that are like Iris, who's looking for her son, so lost son, Berta, who's in deportation proceedings, her son she's fighting for her son, and I can go on and on and on. Marcela, who helped 3 other women from incarceration. I owe my strength to them. I really owe my strength to them, because if they have not gone through all of this pain, I should not be afraid, or at least fight to not be afraid. And just this morning, I wanted to leave you with a question: what are you afraid of, if you are afraid of anything? And why you are taking action or not taking certain action to be able to change things, because this country it has resources. How I think we are afraid of sharing, afraid of the unknown, afraid of meeting something beautiful and not knowing how to accept it. I honestly think that we, as immigrants, we probably have a just changing that. Like, I often think, how did I ended up doing what I'm doing? And it has to be God. It has to be God, because otherwise I don't understand. So when I'm struggling with that, I'm just thinking that if I'm able to do it, other people should be able to do it too. And probably immigrants that are now being demonized and criminalized, we probably have a message. We probably do. We probably bring something different. And I think we do bring something different. Like, we live collectively more. in this country that I see that it's focused in individualism and in a certain way of being successful. I think we probably have a message to provoke something different. And yeah, what are you afraid of? And why are you not taking action? This is the task of the week. And I hope you take action, and I hope to stay connected, and I hope that we can take action together and support immigrants farther than we have been right now. So I'll close with that.